Kayfabe was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm Kayfabe AJ with my co-host
Kayfabe Focus,
and this is the cast bringing to you
the best,
This Week in Wrestling,
the best show that I just on the cast, YouTube, Instagram Live,
now,
Facebook. Now, unfortunately, we gotta bring up.
We're missing our co-host, Mr. Richie Moon.
He's not there. I already checked.
Yeah, he's not here. He's gone. But he's at home recovering. He's had some quick surgery. So everybody, I want you to wish Richie Moon a speedy recovery. He's definitely missed today's podcast. So we will put his mic right here for viewing pleasure. And whenever Focus feels like it's his line.
It's my line. It's my line. But
know?
just to give you background on what happened to Richie. As you may know, he went to Orlando, had a WWE tryout, and at the Performance Center and whatnot, and he came
They stopped
back,
the mud pie into him, a mud hole,
something like that, to visit the hospital. But
hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and he's here with us next week. Our next week's episode.
And if not, then I'll bring Chuckles the Clown.
Chuckles the Clown.
You don't remember when Mick Foley brought Chuckles the Clown for this?
Oh my God! when Austin smacked him over the pan. Well, that's classic. Wow, Chuckles the Clown. Well, anyways, let's remind them where we at.
Well, since Rock's baby left him, will he find a new place to dwell? Well, it's down at the end of Jabroni Drive at
live from the SmackDown Hotel.
That's right, where you can find us every night, every day, basically just hanging out, talking about wrestling, kayfabe and otherwise.
So we usually start out with the news. So we're gonna let Barrett give it to you straight.
Can we get some decorum here?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have some good news and I have some bad news.
Can we start with the good news?
Good news? We can start off with some great news.
TJP got released! Yes! Fuck TJP!
I wasn't thinking that, but I guess I'll get straight into that.
Yes.
TJ Perkins, along with Hideo Itami officially being announced to be given his release, as well as Ty Dillinger got a release, as well as in creative, which was shocking, Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson has been backstage, been a significant part of John Cena's run throughout WWE, and it seems like him and Vince McMahon have been having a lot of disagreements recently or over the years, and they're not divulging too much details, but they're pretty much saying along the line something happened at a live event, and Arn Anderson took the fall for it, and Vince fired him over it. But there's been a major shift in creative the past couple weeks. We have Daivari backstage. We have Hurricane Bitch coming up from Impact, and one of the biggest Sanjay Dutt, accurate word. Sanjay Dutt is behind the scenes in creative now. One of the biggest pieces of the puzzle, they just finished rehiring Bruce Pritchard.
Great.
Bruce Pritchard's been in creative previously. So Bruce Pritchard is back. Welcome back.
Thank God.
Unfortunately,
now they can only pay Jim Cornette $1 billion just to come back.
Well, anything's possible in this landscape. Like, people are complaining about the fact Arn got let go and this is typical Vince, but
I mean, technically,
he's listening. He's shaking up. He shook up the entire creative. Now, I was on the forums earlier. There's people talking about, this is typical Vince. People disagree, so he fires them. No, if you're constantly having a back and forth, the creative direction of the company, as can be told through the ratings, it's been in a decline. He's literally doing what He's promised he was going to shake things up, change things creatively. There's a whole new creative team. Give it time before, people complain to actually see what the product's going to develop into. Give it a few weeks. But Bruce starts tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw.
But Arn Anderson was part of the Four Horsemen.
Did I hear anything about the Four Horsemen? Unfortunately, it doesn't matter.
And I'm cutting you off right now.
You cutting me off.
I'm cutting you off. Don't you start that with me.
Woo!
Don't you start that with me.
Woo! Oh, shit. Woo! There's not enough space for me to do my strut. So let's continue on. So we have the shake-up in creative. We have those guys being released. In good news that I originally thought, besides TJ Perkins being released,
yes.
I don't know. Let's go back to that. Like, what is it about TJ Perkins that you didn't like? I can't pinpoint it. I know TJ Perkins is an amazing wrestler, amazing technician. He's great in the ring, but I just every time I see him, punch him in the face, whether he was a good guy or bad guy or not. So maybe they should have went with him.
Well, the thing is. TJ Perkins got his fame for being Suicide at Impact Wrestling. Well, one of the people who portrayed Suicide at Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I was actually just watching a clip of when Austin Aries was unveiled to be Suicide.
And then eventually he shifted over to WWE, debuted in the Cruiserweight Classic, went to the final rounds, beat Grand Metalik.
The first Cruiserweight champion of WWE in this new modern era.
Which I've always felt that Grand Metalik shouldn't have put him over. He should have been the first.
I mean, in hindsight, Grand Metalik is actually doing a lot more than TJ Perkins has been doing, period, with the Lucha House Party and all that. So,
and plus, Grand Metalik is a great wrestler. He doesn't need the Lucha House Party. I feel like that's just the way they put all the Mexicans together and just say, hey, there you go, there's a group right there.
WWE has a history of just throwing people in the same race together just because
it's funny because one of the members of Lucha House Party isn't Mexican, but
yeah, he's Puerto Rican. This Dorado, right?
Yeah, and he also says canal. Like I never heard any
Carnal. Yeah, I've never heard any. Puerto Ricans. I'm Puerto Rican. There's no Puerto Ricans that say carnal. None of us say that.
Unless
not even from the island.
Unless you're heading down to Chinatown. If you're in New York, going to Canal Street. I understand. No, we don't say canal as a friend term or anything like that. But back to what I'm saying. I feel like he shouldn't have beat Grand Metalik in the Cruiserweight Classic. And then his gimmick when he first got to 205 Live, being a video game character and constantly dabbing. I felt
it was the dabbing. It really was the dabbing because even the video game character. I think if they would have actually added that kind of to his promos or something like that, maybe he would have actually gained some momentum. He's always been stale to me. Like always been stale to me. He's like another Cedric Alexander. I can respect Cedric in the ring. I love what he does in the ring. But they're stale to me.
And even when they turned him heel, he just seemed like just an arrogant douchebag of a character. It really wasn't connecting with me.
It translated really well because he looks like an arrogant douchebag even when he's a good guy.
That's true.
Nothing against TJP. That's just how I felt as a fan watching.
And like according to sources, they're saying that the reason why he was released was because he got random tattoos. As you saw in last week's 205 Live, all those tattoos just
appeared over a week. Over a week span, he had his damn near 2 sleeves done. But according to TJP, he went on Twitter before actually getting released. He said to clear up the confusion, he actually had permission from Vince 6 months ago to get the tattoos. Because people were thinking, oh, maybe he got let go because of the tattoos, because, video game scanning and promotional work and stuff like that, or, action figures, they will have to change pretty much everything about the product just to implement TJP's tattoos. But enough of TJP. He's released. Let's move on. So the good news I thought you were going to talk about was the announcement of DX being inducted into the 2019
Break it down.
Hall of Fame, and they included someone who I've been championing to get inducted. We actually have 2 videos
For
up
some reason,
on
videos.
the Livecast YouTube page. We have 9 Reasons She's the Ninth Wonder of the World. We also have Spotlight, China the Ninth Wonder. Check those 2 videos out for Spotlight on China. So China is getting into the Hall of Fame through her
Huge
participation in DX. And, you know, regardless how people feel, she should be inducted by herself. I do agree she should at one point. But you can't talk about DX without thinking about China being the enforcer and being that dominant female in the Attitude Era. You know, looked at as an equal to a Shawn Michaels and to a Triple H, and eventually an X-Pac Robo, Billy Gunn. She was there from the beginning to damn near the end. Yeah, she's a staple of DX. So congratulations and a rest in peace to Johnny Laura. China, you finally did it. You're in the Hall of Fame this year. We'll actually be at WrestleMania to see this induction probably in person. I'm gonna actually try to see about the Hall of Fame if the G1 doesn't work out. But more of that, we'll cover all that when we get to that. An update on the Corey Graves situation. Last week, it was revealed his ex-wife pretty much went on Twitter on a rampage, pretty much saying that he cheated on her and whatnot, and he was dating Carmella, throwing them both under the bus. It translated into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view where every time the camera was on Corey Graves, he wasn't even looking at the camera.
Yep.
But sources have come out to say that they've actually been separated for about 6 months, and they're already almost in the finalizing stage of their divorce. So, you know, people need to just mind their business. If it doesn't affect the business, if it doesn't affect other people, physically harm them or anything like that, just mind your business. That's a grown-ass woman, and they have a relationship. So it just turns out they've already been separated. He went and told her about, you know, he met someone, which probably happens to be Carmella, and she reacted in that way. You know, best of luck to everyone in that situation, but the fans, no one to mind your business. It's one thing to gossip about wrestling, and that's what we do. We love it, but it's about wrestling. It's about the product, and it affects the business. Let's not delve into people's personal lives and their love and relationships between other people.
Yeah, and the abuse that she was getting around that time was just horrible. They calling her a homewrecker, a whore,
right?
a slut, and all of that stuff. It was very unneeded.
There was people who was literally writing, "I'm gonna tune into Elimination Chamber just to see if Carmella gets booed on the entrance."
Like that's not cool at all. Carmella's a very hard worker. You know, she could improve in the ring, but you know, she is a member of the SmackDown Women's roster. We gotta treat them with respect. We gotta treat Corey Graves with respect. It don't matter if you like his commentary style or
not. And
just give them the respect that they.
I had an issue, and that was my issue with someone on the forums. They wanted to go back and forth with me and turn it into this big thing. But when it comes to something personal, and you're giving your opinion on something personal, learn to separate the situation for what they do professionally. Professionally, Corey Graves is a great announcer. He's covered 3 different shows. He's one of the hardest working people in the announcer's position, and you know, you got to give credit to where credit is due. People were tearing him down professionally, because that has no effect on WWE and the business as a whole. So let's just move on from that. That was just a quick update. I think that'll be the last time we mention Corey Graves.
I hope so.
And his situation at home.
Leave Corey and Carmella.
Moonwalk out their business. So we have an announcement that Hall of Famer from Impact, Gail Kim, is actually leaving backstage area, being in her producer role, and she's actually stepping back into the ring.
Again.
So Gail Kim is officially unretired. Again, and she's back. So welcome back, Gail Kim, again. Gail Kim, of course, is going to be wrestling for Impact. We'll see where that goes. Now,
Gail Kim, she's an amazing wrestler. I feel like she does the retirement thing way too many times. It's either gonna stay in the ring or you're gonna let you know backstage. role.
Or don't even put a label on it. If you're gonna work backstage, work backstage. If you're gonna wrestle, wrestle. You can do it at the
do
same
the John
time.
Cena thing, you know, or Undertaker, like, I'm kind of retired, but not.
Yeah,
really.
like I'm
Like,
taking some time.
Like Gail Kim, she definitely paid her dues in all companies, whether it be TNA or WWE.
Even though I definitely wish WWE treated her better, and she didn't have to eliminate herself in the Women's Battle Royal, and that was literally her last match in WWE. It was horrible.
This was before the
no fault of her own. Yes, before the Women's Revolution. No fault of her own. She was fed up with the bullshit, and rather than just take the couple seconds, she literally eliminated herself. Check it out. Gail Kim eliminates herself in a Battle Royal on Raw.
The funny thing is, I didn't even notice.
No one noticed until they highlighted it. Like until she spoke about it. Like no one noticed her eliminate herself. It is what it is.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, you can't. Coming off of the Elimination Chamber, we have Bayley and Sasha Banks winning the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Congratulations to them. I was very excited for that. But with that comes an announcement that the belt is going to be defended not only on Raw, not only SmackDown, but on NXT as well. And when we cover the shows, we'll get more into that, NXT's presence and that cross-brand situation. Next up, another congratulations goes to Miz and Maurice. They're expecting their second child. So
he still got it.
He still got it. Miz ain't wasting no time. Miz ain't wasting.
He's trying to make a new generation.
No time. I mean, he's smart. You know, do it now and around the same time. You know, the kids will be around the same age. And if Marissa wants to come back, she's still young enough and in a good shape enough to do it.
Yes.
So, not a bad idea. Congratulations to them once again. Another good news, we have the return of the Over the Budget Battle Royal. It's going to be at Double or Nothing. The first one was at All In, and it was just jam-packed with legends, current stars, up-and-comers.
Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, Brian Cage, Jordan Grace, which, you know, through Brian Cage, Big Mama Pump, she actually eliminated Brian Cage. So that was actually a great spot right there. It had AEW signing Sonny Kiss. You had Chico Jr., which was actually
we had the winner, Flip Gordon.
Yeah, who was actually Chico El Luchador Jr.
You know,
so,
but it gave big implications to the rest of All In. The person who won the Over the Budget Battle Royal went on to face what was it, Jay Lethal as the champ?
Yes.
In the same night. So,
I mean the fake champion, but you know.
I mean that belt is gone. So let's just say it. Jay Lethal is the Ring of Honor champion. It's no longer Matt Taven.
No.
Because the purple strap was destroyed.
It's dead.
The purple strap is dead.
And Jay Lethal killed it.
So, moving on from that, we have Vince McMahon upset over some news about Undertaker making his first appearance outside of WWE, being at Starrcast 2. And the issue with that is Starrcast 2 is in Vegas the same weekend as Double or Nothing. So Vince McMahon is pretty much scared that The Undertaker is going to make an appearance for AEW or actually sign with AEW. Now, if Undertaker does that, that's gonna be crazy because Undertaker has been known to be like crazy loyal, and even in the WCW times, where WCW was offering massive amounts of cash, Undertaker still stood loyal. Where in the time where Vince McMahon really couldn't give people what they were due as far as pay and contracts, so to hear that possibility, I understand that Vince is pissed off. But I think there's a time, went to AEW. WWE was making an effort to sign the entire elite, and they were actually pitching to the Young Bucks an invasion storyline.
Oh.
So
I mean,
who knows how that would have went?
The last invasion wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but who knows how this would have happened.
I think this one probably would have been pulled off a little bit, that the group is pretty big and there's no stable right now that can match the size of an Elite if they would have went.
Yeah.
So, you know, the world will never know really how that would have turned out.
I
But
have a feeling like with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody and even SCU, their creative minds probably would have made that way better than the amazing WCW and ECW. But like you said, the world may not, and who knows, maybe it's for the better, it's for the worse. That's something that you as a viewer will have to decide on.
Yeah. So, more good news. This has been a good week in news, I guess. Will be making an appearance tomorrow night on Raw. And not only that, we got tweets from someone who works at a gym, and they were thanking Roman Reigns for promoting and working out at a gym, and they were saying he was gearing up for an in-ring return. So Roman Reigns is probably healthy. He's probably going to announce that tomorrow. And, you know, got on the shoe. I actually miss Roman Reigns. Good time for him to come back where creative ideas are shifting. And, you know, honestly, his star power definitely has been, you know, lacking in on Raw because no one really could fill the shoes of Roman Reigns.
What they need to do with Roman, just make him turn heel, have him turn on Seth Rollins during the Brock Lesnar match or WrestleMania, saying that he's the only one that should be facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania to win the title, but Seth still wins for some reason.
Because we don't want that belt.
We don't want
Brock.
so just have Seth and Roman feud, and then out of nowhere, Dean Ambrose makes a script like, "Ha ha! You thought I was leaving, but I'm staying." And then just dirty all of them, and it's just basically a triple threat.
There's rumors that the reason they want to bring him back is because Dean is leaving and they want to do one last Shield reunion at Mania. Maybe it's even to help Seth win.
Maybe.
So either way, I think if he comes back and they pull the trigger on the heel turn, this will probably be the Hulk Hogan NWO moment for him. You know that we all hope John Cena would one day do, but you know, we see how that's going. But moving on, we have Ricochet was supposed to do a couple events for Evolve, and now he's gonna be replaced by Velveteen Dream. So you know
that's definitely a main roster type of thing.
Yeah, that's a good look because you know Velveteen Dream definitely deserves all the spotlight. So more of that, more Velveteen Dream. So he's gonna. I think it's two appearances for Evolve. He's replacing Ricochet in, and as far as another update on the situation with Naomi and her husband getting stopped last week, a Twitter user responded to her and pretty much tried to tell her, you know, about being drunk and stuff like that. And she said, first of all, I was not drunk. Nobody was drinking and driving. It was snowing, and by mistake she backed out from the wrong way of a driveway.
And there was no signs.
And there was no signs or nothing like that. And as soon as she did that, she got pulled over. So, I mean, whether she wasn't, it shouldn't really affect. She wasn't committing a crazy crime. And if she was drunk, I'm pretty sure there'd be paperwork behind that, and that would have been more publicized in the news. She would have definitely not walked away from that situation, being the driver of the car. Her husband was actually the only one that was taken into custody that night. So
plus they'll get fined at $10,000 probably.
Yeah, and for the last bit of news for this week, well, we have two tidbits of news. Matt Riddle's getting his own documentary after tomorrow night's Raw. So bro, let's get a bro for the king of bros. Matt Riddle is gonna document his life before WWE, and you know, pretty much we'll let him hear. And my last tidbit of news is Lucha Underground producer actually chiming in on the state of Lucha Underground, and it's not looking good.
It's looking very grim.
So it looks like Lucha Underground is
about to fold.
Dead. And that's our news.
Wait. Let me just say something about that. He also said that there was a point in time where WWE was basically trying to sign their whole roster and claim that Impact and Ring of Honor at the same time. Basically, give give their wrestlers and say, hey, here's what you'll be taking over here and such. And they do that for all of the wrestlers. And maybe that's why Eva Lee, Joey Ryan, and etc. got the money saved. They want to get out of their contract right now. So
would it have been a bad thing? Like, so many people complain about moves that WWE does that. But look at the state of Lucha Underground without WWE influencing it at all. It's dead.
it's dead.
Their superstars are locked in blue. Eva Lee, for one, said it straight up. She's locked in a contract with Lucha Underground, and that's why she can't appear at no major wrestling promotions.
Which sucks because the Lucha Brothers are everywhere, and where's she at?
She's a big part of Impact.
I would love. I would tune in.
Or
to watch
who knows? She
Impact.
probably would have got signed to AEW. So
I mean, hey, it's still up in the air.
you know,
right
wherever
now.
she ends up, I'm definitely gonna be tuning in. Ivelisse is definitely a rare find, and she's a great wrestler. So hopefully she gets out that situation with Lucha Underground. So the people complaining, like, this is what I mean. Like, oh, WWE, we've seen this before in territory takeovers, but where is Lucha Underground right now? Defunct. If WWE would have stepped in, gave them some money, they probably would still be standing and just lost a few stars. Not lose everything, you know?
Matter of fact, the only thing I think Lucha Underground's doing right now is a cross promotion pay per view with Impact. I forgot the name, but I think that's the only thing that's.
Honestly, I never was too big on Lucha Underground for the simple fact that I felt it was too scripted in the way it was presented, as far as like the cinematography. Like, it was like a match was a movie.
That's the way it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a novella. Like you had people who died,
it takes away
came back.
To me, it takes away the sport element of the wrestling, because even the actual matches felt like movies. It didn't feel like you was watching an actual match. So that was my big critique of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, but you know, some people like that. Some people like seeing that characters died, come back, ain't gods came to the ring and decides to get in the flesh. You got people who've been locked up all their lives, all of a sudden now they can wrestle and such. You know, it was a big thing.
Well, that was the good news. That was the bad news.
But it was just news.
And it was just news. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw. And God honest truth, this Raw was pretty fucking good.
Great show.
The biggest issue with the show wasn't the show itself. It was the crowd dead as hell. Now, you guys can have your theories on, oh, that's because they didn't have this, or they didn't have storyline, or they... Stop the nitpicking and actually watch what was provided to you that week.
Bully Ray even chimed in on Twitter saying that usually he's the wrestler that when other wrestlers say, oh, the crowd suck, he'll go up to them and say, no, the crowd didn't suck, you suck, you can't put on a great show. But even him, on that night, said, no, it was the crowd, it sucked. I think it was Lafayette, Louisiana. You suck, man. You know what? Step it up, man.
You know what happens?
Like, what happens?
Like,
what
you know what? I'm not even gonna put them on the list. They don't deserve it. But to that crowd,
you know what I gotta say to them?
I don't know, but they gotta. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely suck. So let's just get right into it. Raw starts off with Triple H opening the show, and he's talking about Becky Lynch and her role in Elimination Chamber. Becky Lynch is, of course, suspended right now. Kayfabe suspended. And she ended up coming out into the Elimination Chamber after the Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey match, and literally beat the shit out of both Charlotte and Ronda with her crutches, leaving them all bruised up. all battered, even cutting open around on the side of the head.
Which is funny because I saw a meme on the internet that said that the Crutch got called up from NXT.
I believe it. Oh, Tommaso Ciampa's Crutch. That's
Johnny Gargano. The Crutch got called up.
Yo,
congratulations.
Congrats to the Crutch. Finally made it to the main roster. But Triple H mentions that as a professional backstage in WWE, he has to say the next time she does that, she will be arrested and she will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But on a personal note, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's what he said. It was freaking awesome. More of that. Triple H moves on.
Grab that grass ring.
He moves on to speak about what else is cool, which is the DX induction that we spoke of. It's officially in the Hall of Fame in 2019. Congrats again to DX. He furthers his speech by talking about NXT main roster guys actually making the transition to Raw and being on SmackDown as well. Now, this was a big topic among people this week. The NXT call-ups.
I don't like call-ups.
This is and this is why I know people don't pay attention. Yes, they were called up in the sense that they're going to be able to be viewed on a Raw and a SmackDown, but they still are NXT. They are representing the brand NXT, and this week was more so putting NXT on the same pedestal as a Raw, as a SmackDown, competing against the best stars of each shows with the best four from NXT. So
whenever you see one of these NXT wrestlers come out, at the bottom of the show, the name tag, you saw NXT Aleister Black, NXT Johnny Gargano. They didn't have the regular Raw. They didn't have the regular SmackDown.
Exactly.
They're really trying to establish these are NXT stars. If you like them, go on the WWE Network. It's only $9.99.
Oh God!
Per month.
This is why Richie's not here. He's trying to eat your corporate hat because smashing it didn't work. You're still selling the network for $9.99.
New members get a free month.
So, the critique about NXT call-ups. This wasn't a call-up. This was them saying NXT is going to be a force to reckon with. Even Triple H in this promo had to correct himself when he said NXT was a developmental that he was in charge of. He said, no, NXT is the third traveling brand. Big difference from getting called up as a Raw superstar or as a SmackDown superstar. So I don't really see where all the hate is. Not only that, all four of these guys had amazing matches throughout Raw, amazing matches this week on SmackDown.
Which the crowd didn't give a great response.
On Monday night, they didn't. But Tuesday, the crowd was back in fruition. Tuesday night was a great show. I'll get more into that. But moving on down the line, the NXT call-ups for this week was DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, and Aleister Black. So the first match of the night was Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. This was another match that...
It was a tables match.
It was a tables match, but this was a match... Before the match actually got underway, I'm like, God damn it, again? Do we need this? And, shout out to the Council of Commentary, which is a Facebook group that we're a part of. They're good friends with the Kayfabe Avenue Livecast. Shouts out to them. We have a forum for every show where we comment down. People damn, more of this. I bet you Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley's just going to end up coming in and interfering. Is the same old bullshit. No. This was actually a great match. This was a great match. It was a straight up one-on-one. Showed Baron Corbin's strengths, showed Braun's strengths, and what they both could give to a good match. Honestly, I have to give it to them. Yeah. They pulled off a great match, and this was me going in like, oh, here we go again, the same old, and they proved me wrong. So
and then you have at the end you had Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre actually coming out after the match. They set up two tables. They gave Bobby Lashley Braun Strowman a shield bomb. It was
no. That was at the Elimination Chamber.
That was
that's why we had this match at Raw between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman in the table match. That was Elimination Chamber. So this match was just a straight up one-on-one.
Oh, yeah.
Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley never come out. So it was actually, good what they gave us. And none of that interfering bullshit. Bobby Lashley was in his own world tonight. Drew McIntyre was in his own world tonight. And that first match, for something that, like I said, I really didn't want to see, it turned out to be really good. And I even have it in my notes. Didn't want it at first, but became a good match. Straight up one-on-one. So after Braun wins, he wins in a good way. Corbin does that slide out the ring and go around the turnbuckle, slides back in. When he goes to slide back in, pump handle slam through the table in the corner. So good match. Go and check that out. As Braun Strowman is walking up the ramp to celebrate his victory, he bumps into none other than Paul Heyman. He has him choking Paul out. And Paul's like, you're hurting me. I'm just advocate. I can't breathe. So he ends up letting him go and just walking to the back. But funny stuff.
He has to get a cup of water after that.
Because Paul Heyman is the representative of Brock. Nobody likes what Brock's doing. Everybody wants to take Brock down. So, unfortunately, advocate or not, you're going to get choked out and get these hands. But Paul Heyman's there to show basically video packages of Brock Lesnar and his career.
The straight dominance over everything that he does.
Yeah, this was actually a great video package. It was from before he started in WWE.
As an All-American.
And led all the way until WrestleMania when he won the title. That was the second part. But the first part led all the way to when he won the title and dominated everybody in his first run in WWE. Then they cut it off from there. Finn Balor actually interrupts the segment, and he has to talk about his IC title win. This leads to Lio Rush coming out and saying, "You do not deserve to be Intercontinental Champion. Bobby Lashley deserves to be Intercontinental Champion." So this leads to Lio distracting Finn. Bobby Lashley comes in, attacks Finn Balor from behind. Lio comes into the ring. This leads into save by Lio. Excuse me. This leads into a save by Ricochet, one of the NXT call-ups. Supposedly leads into a good match, good tag team match. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have our co-host, Mr. Richie Moon. Shouts out to Richie Moon. He's actually watching us live. He's tuning in. He says, "I didn't like how the NXT guys were handled. I feel like they could have been made to feel more special. Do you remember Kevin Owens' debut or the Shield's debut? It was special because all the NXT call-ups came out looking strong on Raw and came out looking strong on SmackDown. They had great matches against great competition. Now you have Ricochet actually pulling the victory out of this tag team match between Lio and Bobby versus Finn and Ricochet, and everyone got to mix it up. Everybody got to square off with each other at a certain point. Ricochet eventually going for the 630 splash on Lio for the win. It's looking like Lio and Bobby are probably in a full-time split eventually, but I hope not either. He elevated Bobby Lashley.
Well, what needs to happen is that Bobby Lashley needs to be in a storyline with Lio to try to toughen Lio up. And make them start pumping iron.
See, now I would agree with Richie's stance as far as their call up. If they were actual call ups, if these guys they're not stuck to Raw. They're not stuck to a SmackDown. They're literally there to take over the programming and to represent NXT. This has been said in all their segments, all their backstage promos. It's a takeover. They're there to represent. Yes, promotion. They're there to represent NXT. And even DIY, who's continuing, they did not stop their storyline whatsoever from the NXT shows. They're continuing their storyline. And they said it there on Raw. We're here together to represent NXT. We might not like each other, but let's do this. So DIY is officially back together on the main rosters, defending against the tag teams of Raw and the tag teams of SmackDown, while both holding their championships and feuding. So That Ricochet match was definitely a good match. For people who didn't know about Ricochet on Raw, they know who he is now. So moving on.
Ricochet is a great wrestler too. I've been following him since Lucha. So shout out to Ricochet and Flea and all of them.
Yeah. So moving on from the Ricochet Finn Balor win, we have Triple H in the back and he's talking to Natalya. It's inaudible. We really don't see what they're actually saying to each other. But we have Drew McIntyre come and pretty much tell Triple H his case for WrestleMania. And he's like, when I told you why you're giving these NXT superstars some shine on Raw. I told you when I arrive here, I will do anything in my power to make it to the top. And let me prove that to you. Give me Seth Rollins. I want to destroy him. I'm going to destroy him, and I want to show my case for being at WrestleMania. I'm that guy. So in comes Dean Ambrose, and he's like, well, I'm not doing anything. Smacks the holy hell out of Drew McIntyre. And Triple H is standing there like,
you want me to change the match? You want me the same match?
You want me? Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre's like, just change the match.
He's like, change the match, and walks off. So I don't know what's going on with Dean Ambrose, but that was hilarious. Smacked the shit out of him.
Okay, yeah, because after is there next?
No.
All right, so I'll let you go through that.
Yeah, so
I'll explain.
the next thing that was up after that promo with Ambrose and Drew and Triple H, we have a highlight of Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky's chamber recap, pretty much. Then it leads to the Revival, DIY in the back, talking to Rude and Gable, and Rude and Gable's like, I don't understand. You guys are brand new, stepping off of that match from last week. We should be facing the Revival tonight, not you guys. So pretty much posturing between the teams, and then the Revival come out, hey, we're the top guys. We have our titles. We're going to show you how it's done. They mentioned the wars between DIY and the Revival in the past. And this led straight into their match. So it was Revival versus DIY. With Rude and Gable looking on backstage. It was a great match. Like, I feel like maybe the Revival was that's definitely pay-per-view worthy down the line if it's gonna be for the titles eventually. But I felt like the Revival could get this loss over them just because of the big win and that great classic match from last week. I kind of feel like they should have put DIY versus another tag team though. Maybe put them against Rude and Gable to put them over them. I feel like the Revival maybe lost too soon.
Yeah.
But understandable. They're trying to put DIY over. They're trying to put NXT guys over as compatible or as good or better than the roster.
What you really think about it is it's not like they lost to nobody. They lost against the NXT champion and the NXT North American champion. These are made guys already, built to look strong already, and you have tag team champions, and it's basically champions versus champions right now. Pretty much. And I don't feel like there was a way to make them look weak, but they both look strong because at least they lost to strong champions.
Yeah, exactly. They lost to the NXT champion and the North American champion, so it wasn't like you lost to two bums. But moving on, we have Bayley and Sasha celebrating their win with the women's tag team championships at Elimination Chamber. They're interrupted by Nia and Tamina, and I can't even lie. As much as I can't stand Nia Jax, she straight up clowns Sasha Banks. Like, oh, you're the one that's known for winning and then losing your titles in the first defense. Shitted on, straight shitted on them. They tried to attack, it failed. Bayley and Sasha held them off. Every time they tried to get in the ring, they would put like a move on them or hit them. So they ended up retreating. But the announcement was made here that the women's tag team championships will be defended on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So there's more of that cross-brand situation going on. NXT being respected as a prominent brand.
That's great because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of tag teams. Honestly,
the men need to follow suit. I feel like at that point, we don't need an NXT tag team title, we don't need a SmackDown tag team title, and we don't need a Raw tag team title. Let's have the Revival face the Usos and face the War Raiders for the reemergence of the old classic tag team titles. That'll be fucking amazing.
Nah, I still like the brand split. It gives more people more opportunity and such, especially with since WWE has like damn near 50 plus wrestlers on the active roster. When you include NXT UK, 205 Live, Raw, and SmackDown, plus the people they have in the development, they have a lot of people to have championships and such. So I feel like it makes sense to have a Raw tag team and a SmackDown tag team. I feel like the other shows should have more. I feel like 205 Live should have a tag team as well, and
I just think that's too much oversaturation of tag team titles. If Bayley and Sasha are gonna set the standard and fight and defend their titles on all three brands, I think the men should be held accountable and done the same. And I think the separation between 205 Live and the rest of the roster should end. The only thing that should be focused on 205 Live, the only thing that should be the focus of that show should be the Cruiserweight Championship and the matches leading up to deciding who faces the champion. So,
I mean, the Cruiserweight, the 205 Live could get a tag team championship, which I feel would help a lot of the 205 Live wrestlers, because they're basically not doing much. You see, Michael Kanellis is not doing much. What is Lucha House Party doing?
Well, we'll speak about Michael Kanellis.
What is Drew Gallagher?
Drew Gallagher has actually been on NXT
and NXT UK.
Merging the brands pretty much. So this merging of brands has been underway for quite some time. It's not just this week on Raw. It's just they actually making you guys aware this time. Like NXT's getting called up as a brand. Not they're Raw superstars now, they're SmackDown superstars now. No, NXT as a brand is getting called up.
We gotta stop thinking that NXT is developmental. No, it's the third brand.
It's the third
Technically,
brand.
It's the A show. If we want to be honest, and
Evolve is now our developmental system, and the Performance Center is the development.
And Progress.
Moving on from the Tamina Bailey stuff, we had the match between Drew and Dean. It was a good match, but obviously with Dean leaving after WrestleMania, his losses are just piling up now. Drew McIntyre ends up winning. After that, we have Brock's promo video, which now explains his streak win and his dominance over the WWE title situation, eventually the Universal Championship, and more of that hype stuff. It's funny how they failed to mention his failed football career, and also the fact that he did go off and become UFC champion, but he got the diverticulitis or something like that. It's called
something like that.
And the stomach disease that prevented him from continuing his UFC career. They failed to mention that. Two big tidbits. Brock isn't all powerful, and no, he's had hardships. They should have mentioned that, because his career and everything he tried, for the most part, he's dominated what he's tried, but he has failed, and they try to remove that from history. WWE does write their history sometimes, and they did it with Brock. So after this package, we have Seth Rollins backstage getting interviewed, and pretty much usual stuff. Burn it down. He's gonna fight him at WrestleMania. He's gonna be the martyr. Win, lose, or draw. He's gonna make sure that he walks out with that title. And
then Dean
Ambrose pops back up.
And it's like, wait. And honestly, I really gotta give them one of these, because it's like, why? It's like, who is booking this crap? It's like he's like, hey, why aren't you out there? And then you have Seth Rollins like,
have you completely lost your mind? I found it funny. I found it funny, honestly. And not only that,
and my thing is that
let's be real.
You're leaving WWE because of these hokey storylines.
But you're participating.
You're participating in this hokey storyline.
I also see this as a change. a lot of Dean Ambrose frustration, besides creative, was the fact that they pulled him away from Seth Rollins as his traveling, partner. They were more than just the Shield. They were real friends and brothers, in real life. So that was a big impact on the fact that, if you're gonna make me in this uncomfortable situation, I can't even travel with my best friend no more. And it's for this heel turn that you said I was gonna have, but the heel turn didn't really come into fruition like you promised. I'd be disgruntled too. I see this as a way to kind of like mold him back into being on Seth's good side. Roman just got announced he's going to be on tomorrow's Raw and possibly coming back in the ring. Who knows? They're probably going to say, okay, now we can have the Shield back.
Hopefully.
So I actually enjoyed that because he's like, have you completely lost your mind? And Dean gives him the, like, maybe I have lost my mind look and walks off. So next up is Elias. Cuts a promo saying he's fed up with the treatment and being interrupted. We do have that universal truth. So, talking about the general mistreatment, how he's been interrupted, and the moment he actually finishes talking and tunes in that guitar and strums that guitar, out comes Aleister Black. Richie is chiming in. He says, hopefully they can make this feud more interesting because Seth versus Brock is ice cold for me.
It is ice cold for me.
It's ice cold for me too. God honest truth, I was hoping that they were going to throw the demon Finn Balor into the story at some point and have Finn versus Seth versus Brock at WrestleMania. It's ice cold because Brock is nowhere in sight. We can't have Seth Rollins carrying the entire shit. Not only that, Paul Heyman coming in and I'm the advocate, let me speak, let me walk off, and then you give us these video packages. No, we want the champion on the show. I agree with Richie 100%. I'm cold on this too. Dean Ambrose leaving might be at work. Remember that. I'm definitely one of the people that said I believe Dean Ambrose situation is work as well because WWE's never been known to announce people leaving months in advance, let alone someone on the caliber of a Dean Ambrose, and way ahead of WrestleMania season they announced this. So I do agree, maybe the Dean Ambrose thing isn't work, and hopefully, honestly, the smartest way they could have did it, keep Dean Ambrose far away from Seth Rollins, have him as an impossibility for Seth. Seth is completely alone versus Brock. WrestleMania time comes, Dean Ambrose comes to try to Roman comes, tries to rescue Seth in that situation, help him win the title. Brock is destroying both of them. Dean Ambrose, the full Shield is back. Maybe have a no disqualification kind of situation for the title. Triple powerbomb. The Beast is destroyed by the entire Shield. Who knows?
And then Brock leaves for good.
And then Brock leaves for good. Go to UFC. Go anywhere. Go anywhere but...
Go to Bellator.
Go anywhere but WWE's rosters, please. Because anytime Brock Lesnar is in that situation, I have a question. Like, who the hell is booking this crap?
I feel
Count all those sins. So, moving on, Elias cut the promo. Aleister Black interrupts. This leads into a Aleister Black versus Elias match. Now, this match, honestly, it could have been better. I enjoyed it in my initial run, but seeing what Aleister Black did on SmackDown, and we'll get more to that when we get to the SmackDown portion, I felt SmackDown handled Aleister Black perfectly. It was the perfect type of match. Now, Elias is a little awkward in the ring. Obviously, his in-ring work isn't the best part of Elias's situation, but Aleister Black made the best of it. It turned out to be a pretty decent match. Fade to Black, and Aleister Black wins the match.
That was a stiff.
Richie Moon has chimed in again on the YouTube, and he says, I think Elias versus Black wasn't a good look for Black. Being put in rest holds during to add breaks doesn't make him feel special. And goddamn Michael Cole, he's moody. Laughing out, he's not an emo. He's not an emo. He's not an emo. He has Luciferian beliefs. Aleister Black.
Oh my God.
Aleister Black has Luciferian beliefs.
That's what Record
a lot of the
saying?
symbolism.
Wow, that's crazy.
A lot of the symbolism on his vest are tarot symbols. So everything that he wears actually, yeah, they're tarot symbols, and they all mean, his vest all means something pertaining to the feud he's in.
See, that's why I watched Raw and SmackDown.
Now this is the thing. This is why SmackDown does those situations better. It's not so much that it didn't make Aleister Black look good. It's the fact that when Raw goes on commercial breaks, the fans at home don't know anything that's going on. So usually they are in rest holds. You know, I've been to a lot of live Raws. They usually are in rest holds or in situations where they're just locking up and killing that minute, 2 minutes of time, so they can get back to the live feed and then continue on with the match. Where SmackDown does it better is when it's an important match, they actually continue the match in the corner and the commercials in a picture-in-picture situation. Raw needs to implement this because it would subside all those ill will feelings that Richie's bringing up, which actually is a good example. Like, so you put him in the rest hold before the commercial, and we come back to commercial, and he's still in the rest hold. I see what you mean, but that's Raw for you. And I thought you said something else. No, that's it. So yeah.
Michael Cole saying that.
Michael Cole saying that he's emo.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's old world. Like, we need Corey to just continue his announcements situation. Michael Cole is scaling back, so you know he's out of touch calling him emo. But nonetheless, Fade to Black leads Elias's downfall, Aleister Black's win. Next up was the main event, which God Honest Truth shouldn't have been the main event.
Nope,
but
not at all.
The only thing I can say, I thought this match was complete garbage on my first watch. I rewatched it last night. The match was better than what they delivered at Elimination Chamber. That's the most positive thing I can say about Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. It was better than Elimination Chamber, but it was not that good of a match. It was okay for the most part. It should not have been the main event, especially with no Becky in sight, no Charlotte in sight. This was basically Ronda in her bag, in her rampage, coming off the anger, getting her ass whipped by Becky Lynch at the Elimination Chamber. She took it out on Ruby Riott. What I will give them was a great spot. Ronda pretty much has Ruby's legs up on her shoulders.
Oh,
and she flapjacks her face first onto the turnbuckle.
That was a good one.
When Ruby turns around and she's like holding her face, Ronda does like a step up, using like kicking off of Ruby into the armbar, rolls her and makes her tap in the armbar. So that was actually a good part of the match. Like I said, it shouldn't have been the main event. It was a decent match. I can't say it was a great or phenomenal match. Shouldn't have been the main event, but it was a lot better than what they gave them at the Elimination Chamber. What I didn't like was the fact that Ronda by herself took down Ruby Riott, then got ambushed by Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, and she basically had one on her shoulders, kicked Sarah Logan in her stomach, drops Liv, dominates all three. This takes away from Ruby Riott. This takes away from the Riott Squad as a whole. The Powerpuff Girls. Richie says Ruby Riott deserves more. I agree. DIY versus the Revival should have been the main event. Definitely agree with that.
Yes.
Ronda's jumping armbar is fire. That's what made me change. Got on the truth. That flapjack spot into the face first into the turnbuckle. That and leading into the step up armbar. That's what made me change my whole outlook of the match, because it was like, well, damn, they actually did some shit here. Like I said, not a great match, wasn't complete trash like I originally thought it was going in on my rewatch. I really sat down, got to really appreciate it for what it was. They did their best, I guess, with that situation. What WWE needs to really realize, you have to stop choosing your heroes, your selective heroes, and then diminishing the stock of the rest of your talent. The Attitude Era only worked because you could believe a Billy Gunn versus The Rock. You could believe D'Lo Brown versus a Stone Cold Steve Austin and actually think, hey, D'Lo probably got a chance tonight. You know? That was the difference between the way things were booked then and the way things are booked now. Everyone is strong. Everyone had that opportunity to beat the next person. By you having Ruby Riott get dominated, and then Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan can't even do a successful jumping attack, that wasn't good.
Well, to WWE's defense, they want to make Ronda look strong as possible in front of Mania.
That's Richie Moon. Focus is Richie Moon impression. I'll do it next time, Richie. Don't worry. But I understand that WWE's trying to make Ronda look strong, but we don't need her to look strong. We already know she's strong. We know where she come from. We know what she's done this past year. It's officially a year now. Ronda's been in WWE. We don't need to keep building her strong. What we needed to do was give Ruby her moment. She came close, but in the end, the armbar took her down. That's it. They should have had Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan pull Ruby out and carry her. Good fight, kind of like a New Day situation.
Yeah.
How they were like, Kofi, you did your thing. Next time, you got them. That's how they should have booked the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad could be a big force to deal with. Ruby could be a future champion, and the rest of the Riot Squad could be future tag team champions, and they could be the first real dominant women's stable with titles and all. But you can't book that if you're diminishing them by getting the ass whooped by the women's champion all by herself. So he says, put that mic down. That's his line, Focus. So
that's my line. That's my line. And I'm cutting you off right now.
All right, so that was Monday Night Raw. Like I said, I felt if they would have put that DIY, like I agree with Rich, if they would have put that DIY versus Revival at the end, it definitely would have been a big plus. But let's move on to Tuesday Night SmackDown, and let's continue this good streak of finally this good streak of shows.
And maybe you don't know where you are right now.
I don't think it's his house no more. The AJ Styles built. Even though I don't think it's his house no more, but SmackDown opens up with The Miz and Shane, and Miz is pretty much speaking his case about their loss at Elimination Chamber.
The greatest tag team in the world.
I don't know how I feel about this because I want bigger things for Miz. I feel like after their loss, they should have just chopped it up to maybe Shane saying, we won, we did our thing. I'm gonna fall back. I'm in a position of power here. I shouldn't be going for titles.
Whoa.
Okay, Uso. Okay, Uso.
No.
We didn't get there yet.
I know, but I just want to say that part was whack though.
So,
the Usos come out.
The Miz is speaking his case. I let you down. I let my dad down. I let my wife down. I let my unborn child down. I let my born child down. I let my mama down. I let the fan down. Even the fat one in the corner, and I make her cry too. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my line.
I'm sorry. I'm blending promos.
And even the Miz girl, she probably was disappointed.
And he agrees with Richie. Agrees with me. It's definitely not AJ Styles' house no more. It's the vegan compound now.
Yeah, the vegan.
Listen,
compound.
those vegan steaks and weights is what got you off the show today. So I don't know if the vegan compound is a good idea. Just joking, but he speaks his case. The Usos interrupt, and they're like, "Whoa. I don't know what they're trying to do there, but they were, I guess, just trying to mock the whiteness of Shane and Miz, and that's kind of how they were making fun of them, speaking that way. So, long story short, this leads into Miz and Shane accepting the rematch, so that's going to happen at Fastlane. Now, I'm mixed feelings because I think Miz deserves better. And with no clear competitor for Daniel Bryan, I was hoping Shane would step back. I'm in a position of power here. We won the titles. We did it. Here's your chance to maybe earn a WWE title shot without me being in the mix. Now, we still have time to do that.
However, everybody wants Kofi to win.
Everybody wants Kofi to win, which is, not a problem if he eventually does that. I don't see it happening. We'll get to Kofi more down the line, but the match is on. The tag team matches, a rematch is back on. Next up, we have Aleister Black versus Andrade, and now this was the type of caliber match I wish happened on Raw versus the second night on SmackDown. This was hard hitting. This was competitive. This was back and forth. This was the best Andrade. This was the best of Aleister Black. A lot of strikes, a lot of holds, a lot of moves.
A lot of Zelina.
But great match nonetheless. Ends with a fade to black. Great showing for Aleister Black. I don't want to get too much into these. I want you guys to go back and check out Raw and SmackDown this week. Very worthwhile. It was noted in the ratings. Raw had the highest rated views in 5 months.
Oh, damn.
So they have rebounded with what they tried out. So let's get more of that. So moving on, we have DIY in the back, and they're pretty much cutting a promo about their partnership. They're cutting a promo about their partnership and the fact that they're just there to represent NXT.
And then the bar comes.
The bar comes, and they're pretty much like, oh, it's bring your NXT superstar to work day. So they pretty much shitted on DIY. Didn't look at them as competitors.
And then DIY was all like, we don't just make the bar, we break them. And
we break the bar. They started laughing at that.
And then the bar just laughs at them and walks away.
Rich says it's going to be Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania.
Most likely.
I hope it doesn't go there. Realistically speaking, I want Miz versus Daniel Bryan for the title. But whatever. He says, good match, but I wish the general fans had more context. Which match was that? The Aleister Black and Andrade? Well, let's not, discount the fans that they actually do watch NXT and know what's going on in NXT. Andrade coming from NXT, deep history with them. Aleister Black having a deep history with NXT currently.
The announcers did mention that
they gave a brief history of video package.
Aleister Black that took the title away from Andrade, so I really can't say they didn't have too much contact.
They didn't phone in on them. So this is the complete history of Andrade in NXT and Aleister in NXT. They didn't do that, but they did. Before the match started, they did give a video package about Aleister Black and who he is and where he comes from. And the commentators didn't make mention of the matches between Aleister and Andrade. But moving on from that, after DIY and the promo with the bar, we have Jeff Hardy, AJ, and Kofi backstage. And Kofi wants to extend not an olive branch, but a pancake branch to AJ and to Jeff because, of course, they were all competitors in the Elimination Chamber the night, 2 nights before.
I just want to point out that Xavier was carrying Big E.
Yo, that was hilarious. Usually I have a problem when they get too goofy like that, but that shit was hilarious. So they extend a pancake branch to Jeff and AJ because later on in the night they're going to fight Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. After this promo, we have the bar versus DIY. And will I say, this was a hard-hitting match.
Very hard.
This showed, this is main roster power and heavyweight versus the fast, young up-and-comers. This match was great. I think it was another Aleister Black versus Elias situation where the second night of matches felt way better than the first night. Even the first night of matches with NXT, they were great matches. But, oh my God, SmackDown hit all the notes with the NXT guys and the way they were used in the ring. So great match, Bar versus DIY. DIY ends up coming out on top. They win the match. Again, the NXT guys are getting pushed in a way that, hey, we here, they can contend with our main roster guys, and NXT's a third brand. So the fact that they ran through Raw and they pretty much ran through SmackDown this week, it's just big and better things for NXT. And people like us here at Kayfabe have livecast. Even Richie Moon, who's not here, he's chiming in through the YouTube channel. He can agree, and he does say it from time to time. NXT is the show, and I've kind of given the gimmick to NXT is where the F went.
Yep.
From WWF. NXT is where the F went. You want the great matches, the great stories, great all-around product. NXT is where it's at, and they're being legitimized. Richie says Big E might be the funniest guy in all of wrestling. I agree. He said because the fans knew who they were and the matches were better on SmackDown Live. Yeah, I mean, they did get more context. Like I said, they did get more context from Raw into SmackDown, and they were really used great on SmackDown. No complaints from my part. Next up, we have, after the DIY win over the Bar, we have the same situation in reverse. We got Daniel Bryan, Joe, and Orton in the back talking. They look like they're more in the arguing thing. No pancake branches, no olive branches, nothing. Next up is a Ricochet promo highlighting who he was, where he came from, his NXT background. Rich says, NXT is often the best thing in wrestling, period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go watch NXT on the WWE Network.
Shows where WWE could be if they had the time. So we have the Ricochet promo. After that, we have Asuka in the ring. And finally, this promo was exactly how me, Richie Moon, and folks have been feeling like, what the hell happened to Asuka? Her stock kind of dropped. She's not, she's being overlooked by Ronda and Charlotte and Becky's feud. And this was directly addressed. This was directly stated in an in-ring interview. And
she basically said she don't care about.
She doesn't care about them.
And she
tapped
forced
Becky.
She forced Becky and Charlotte to leave SmackDown to go to the Raw.
I mean,
brand.
pretty much. She beat both of them at TLC, which she said. Then she made Becky tap at the Rumble. So Asuka's, pretty much like, I'm still here. We have Mandy Rose.
They ran. I'm still here. Now who's ready for Asuka?
So Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come out. Now Mandy's pretty much stepping up to the plate. She's ready for Asuka. They had a good match.
Great match.
I was really surprised that Mandy gave Asuka this caliber of a match.
Very surprised.
Considering everything we see from Mandy is quick, or it's recorded in a weird segment or something. This was actually a great Mandy Rose match, and she used heel ring psychology to beat Asuka, which I don't feel like. I think Rich said this earlier this week. He felt like it diminished Asuka the way she lost. I don't think she did. If anything, it made Mandy look really good, and Asuka lost in a typical
heel fashion.
Yeah. Mandy gets hit in the eye. She plays it off. Oh, my eye. She distracts her. She distracts the ref. She pulls Asuka to the ropes. Her neck rebounds off the ropes. She's holding her throat. She gets rolled up for the pin. Surprise, happened quick. Great way as a heel from Mandy to expand her character. Not only that, there was Sonya Deville. So Mandy Rose. Richie Moon says Asuka, holy
shit.
S word, and then she comes back and loses to Mandy Rose. Nothing against Mandy, but I just can't believe her against Asuka yet.
I mean,
it
she
made
just
Asuka
proved
look
you.
stupid.
She
just gave the reason. Listen, there's no way that Asuka's losing at the end of this rivalry, but she has to build up the SmackDown Live Women's roster with the heavyweights of that roster moving on to Raw for this Ronda Rousey feud, Asuka's role right now is to bring up the women's division. You have Carmella and Naomi, who are probably the other best talent on the roster, and right now they're women's tag team division. So she has to be the catalyst for the rest of these women to step up to the plate and actually get on the level of Asuka, get on the level of a Charlotte, get on the level of a Becky. Whether that's possible or not, they have to try. And Mandy Rose, in her first real outing against Asuka, really looked strong, gave her more the way it ended. I don't think Asuka looked stupid at all. If anything, it's the classic heel versus face situation, and Mandy capitalized on the heel win.
And you got to look at the psychology of it when when Mandy pulled Asuka to the ropes and she hit her neck on the rope. Like, at that point, Asuka was choking. She couldn't breathe. And if you can't breathe, you're not going to get the strength to kick out. That's basically what it came down to. Mandy came in when she was choking, did a fast roll up, 1, 2, 3. Before you know it, she lost. She was still choking. She couldn't get no air because of that. You need air to lift up. You can't lift. That's why every time when you get personally trained or anything, they tell you to keep on breathing, breathe in, breathe out, and you get the strength that you can
Yeah, not only that, after Mandy Rose's win, Asuka was like shocked. Like, I just fucking lost to Mandy Rose. I'm pretty sure the same amount of shock as Rich had when he realized she just lost to Mandy Rose. This is gonna light a fire under Asuka, and when they actually show up, Asuka's gonna whoop her fucking ass.
Yep.
And she's gonna come out on the top. But at the same time, she made Mandy Rose look good, and that's half of what wrestling is. When the people could take a fall for the next man, and they both look good coming out of it. So I don't really have an issue with that. I actually applauded that situation. I felt personally it was done well.
Because we don't want to have a situation where you have a champion who can't be beat and pinned, or every time they have a wrestling match, it's basically, oh, they're going to win. I don't care.
Yeah, like every time Cena used to step in the ring back in the day, it was like, your favorite person's going to lose because Cena's in the match. We don't need that. It's like I said earlier about the Attitude Era. It wasn't that compared to now. It was, you can see somebody on the low card face somebody on the main event card and actually think it's going to be a great match, or maybe the other guy has a chance. That was how the Attitude Era was booked. Everybody from top to bottom was booked really well. You can't just have dominating forces and never have them bring up the rest of the talent. You're going to squash your talent pool on SmackDown and have no other women's contenders be believable to fight Asuka. So let's move on from that. But so Mandy got the win. Next up is Ricochet versus Eric Young. This was an okay match. I felt like they're mistreating Sanity. Period. It wasn't good. Ricochet pretty much held off all three of them by himself. Beats Eric Young with the 630. I feel like they just need to believe in Sanity. Let Eric Young do his promo work. Let the big guy in Sanity be a beast. They're just not booked right. Sanity, I have not been happy with Sanity's booking, period, on SmackDown. And SmackDown's supposedly one of the best opportunity shows. It wasn't showing here. Ricochet with the win, using the 630 splash, which is something you need to fucking see. We have a New Day promo, which was fucking awesome backstage, in the gorilla position. They're talking about Kofi Kingston. They're talking about the momentum he's building, which leads straight into no breaks. It leads straight into Big E doing his New Orleans, and you see him doing it from the gorilla position, and you see them walk out to the stage. That promo right there was like, more of this. I love when they do the backstage gorilla position segments and that leads straight into the match. Actually seeing Big E cut that and the veins popping and how he got into character, like, these are things we want to see. It was well done. Daniel Bryan loses, but I don't think he looks bad doing it. Sanity, holy shit, they were there. Yeah, Sanity versus Ricochet, bro. That's Richie Moon against chiming in. Daniel Bryan does lose. He actually has, and he does win the heelish ways. So the New Day promo was awesome. Led straight into the match. Kofi Kingston, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton. This was a great fucking match, back and forth. Good 3-on-3. Eventually, all the parties get separated, and it leaves Kofi Kingston to actually have a little back and forth with Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston eventually hits the Trouble with Paradise and gets another win off of Daniel Bryan. This leads into winning for his team. Shane McMahon comes out and says the person who's going to face Daniel Bryan at Fastlane other than Kofi Kingston. The crowd goes crazy. They celebrate in the ring, and that was SmackDown.
Hashtag give Kofi a chance.
They definitely are giving Kofi his chance, and this is a good thing to see stemming off of him replacing Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali was supposed to be in this Kofi Kingston position, and I'm actually surprised at how people got behind Kofi and they're really were chanting his name, and like they this is things that they should be doing with the lower mid-card stars on an everyday basis. They shouldn't just pick and choose, oh hey, a word, WWE spotlighted Kofi today? We're going to cheer him. Yeah. Let's see this happen. No, do this night in and night out, and we'll see those stars get their sign.
You gotta raise your own brand stock value.
Yeah.
Having them lose every time to like the champion, it isn't working out.
Yeah, so let's move on to 205 Live. And 205,
it was a great show. It started off with Drake Maverick talking about tonight's show and announcing that there's going to be an 8-man tournament to determine
which I
Buddy
was
Murphy's
definitely
challenger
thinking
at WrestleMania pre-show. Which they didn't say WrestleMania pre-show,
but it's probably going to be on the pre-show, which they need to stop doing.
Which
the Cruiserweight Championship is a big part of WWE. Make it feel that way. I honestly think with the third brand of NXT coming up, we should do away with pre-shows. And the actual pre-show should just be the start of the show, so we can have that extra hour, 2 hours to implement the new NXT guys, implement 205 Live in a way that's on the same level as the rest of the WWE roster.
I agree. Calling it the pre-show kind of like diminishes the Cruiserweight Championship when every time for the past couple of months, every time there's a Cruiserweight Championship on the main roster, pay-per-view, it's always one of the best matches on the whole card. Not just the pre-show, the whole card.
That's a lot.
Murphy.
A lot attributed to Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy is a great champion. His challengers, I wouldn't say so much, but that's neither here or there. But Buddy Murphy is a great champion. He's improved a lot this past year. His mic work is ridiculous. He's showing why he's the greatest Cruiserweight champion. Not of just right now, but of all time. So let's get into more of it. We got Humberto Carrillo
versus the tattoos.
Versus some tattoo
wearing TJP.
I don't know who this was.
It was a bunch of tattoos wearing TJP.
Okay.
Not TJP with new tattoos. It was the two tattoos wearing TJP.
So this was TJ Perkins' last match with the WWE.
Which,
he started a drastically
I'm sorry, but that's kind of fucking hilarious. That same day or the day before, he just tweeted, like, I love WWE. I want to be here forever. Has his match, which I can't lie, was a great match. Very technical, very high-flying, a lot of submission work on TJP. Once again, I respect TJP as a wrestler, and these was one of those matches that was like, damn, TJ's giving a good show. I just can't stand TJ. I just cannot stand TJ Perkins for some reason. And you can see how I'm getting it's like an animalistic thing. Like, I just can't stand you, bro. But you're a great wrestler nonetheless, and good luck on your future endeavors.
But Humberto Carrillo gets the victory, and Humberto Carrillo is gaining momentum as a rising star, not only in 205 Live, but in NXT as well, because he's being spotlighted there as well.
Well, to show how spotlighted he is, we had Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher actually come out mid-match. They did not interfere. They were literally just there. It looked like they were actually giving advice to Humberto, and pretty much telling him, giving him little tips to actually push them to the win.
Yeah.
And at the end, we see Umberto get carried in the air by Jack Gallagher and Drew Gulak. So, are we seeing a new faction forming? It looks like we're seeing a new faction.
It seems like it because they need somebody to replace Brian Kendrick, who they kicked out of a couple months ago. So we'll see how that go. However, Humberto Carrillo's style is more aerial and high flying.
Definitely.
And we all know Drew Gulak is not like that for a better 205 Live or a better NXT. So we'll see how they'll try to mold Humberto Carrillo from using high flyer and to more technical. And we'll see how that goes down. But the next segment we get Tony Nese, and he cuts a promo and about how he proved that he's better.
Not to cut you off, but in my notes I literally have Tony Nese promo, blah.
It was alright.
I do not like Tony Nese on the mic. Like,
he's good.
He's like, I need to believe in myself, and you had the 8 packs and you didn't believe in yourself.
Nah, the 8
all
packs.
this cocky confidence character he had.
All this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is not gonna win you matches. What's gonna win you matches?
But that was
being
8 reasons. That was 8 reasons.
That's the 8 reasons to watch him. Now he's gonna show you the other reasons why he's gonna be the champion, and that he was saying that he beat Noam Dar and kicked him out of 205 Live, and now he's probably gonna stay at the NXT UK and whatever mental block that was holding him back. He got over it, and he's gonna win the tournament and become the new cruiserweight champion at WrestleMania, which is interesting.
No, he's not.
Which is interesting because he's aligned with Buddy Murphy at the moment.
Tony Nese is, mark my words at me, Tony Nese is not going nowhere near that title. And the person I feel is going to eventually get into that spot and win the title at Mania is the person in the next promo, Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis. They do a promo backstage, and I literally have better. Why I put better? Because their promo from last week was horrible. Every time we lose, we win. No! Every time you lose, you lose. This makes no fucking sense.
I mean,
this week,
what they were trying to say is that what doesn't kill them makes them stronger. You know, that they find mistakes since they're fighting new competition and everything. So eventually, you know, Mike Kanellis will be on top eventually. And I understand that, but I don't know about this backstage promo with the interviewer and then, you know, telling the interviewer to shut up.
I kind of like when Maria does that.
Who's that?
And honestly, they need to stop fucking harping on the fact that they got 15 years of experience, because Maria, your 15 years of experience, half of that shit wasn't even in-ring experience. So, yeah, kind of stop saying that.
She needs to be in a match. You know what? What they need to do, they need to have Maria versus Zelina or something.
Something to legitimize what the hell Maria's saying. Because you being a manager and you being an in-ring competitor is 2 different beasts. And you would never be a successful in-ring competitor.
Exactly.
So, but nonetheless, it was a better promo.
I don't think so, but we'll move on.
A better promo for the week.
But you know what was a bit better promo than both of them?
I pretty much think you're gonna say Daivari.
Exactly. Daivari promo was the better one out of all 3. Oh my god!
I agree.
Thank God for Daivari. He's coming out and he's proven why he shouldn't be paired with these failures, like a wannabe rapping wrestler and some Japanese wrestler who can't even cut a decent promo to get fans to cheer him on.
Yeah, he should.
So it was great.
It leads to him pretty much squashing a bum, though.
Yeah, Johnny basically.
Basically on Empire.
Probably. But he wins it with the Cobra, very Iron Sheik like, you know, he definitely humbled Mr. Lyons.
Well, maybe we'll see bigger things for Daivari. His brother is actually behind this, so hopefully he helps his brother get out that 205 run. But I do like what Daivari's been doing the last 2 weeks on 205 and try to drift away from being someone's backup or someone's bodyguard or some shit like that.
That's great. Shout out to Navarre. You're doing a great job. Keep up with the good work with these promos and everything. Hopefully you'll get a shot at the championship.
After that squash match, we have Buddy Murphy speaking on the title situation. What do you think about Buddy Murphy?
I think that Buddy Murphy had his promo saying that it was a good idea from Drake to give him a challenge, because the last challenge that he had, it was basically
I think he said Neville, right?
Huh?
I think he mentioned Neville.
I'm not sure if he mentioned
I know he said something about the King of the Cruiserweights.
Something like that. But he was saying that he beat Tozawa, and then before that he beat three people at the same time. So it's good that now they're gonna put them all together to see who's the very best, because he needs a challenge. You know, he's bored. You know.
I like the fact that they're building up WrestleMania on 205 Live already. They, especially with the way they pace 205, like you don't see the same people every week. So doing it this early will hopefully this 8-man tournament will be really dope, and it'll give us a lot of good matches on 205 leading up to that. Who do you think should? I think Mike Kanellis is gonna eventually redeem himself, win this tournament, and win the title at Mania. Who do you think?
Who I would like to eventually win? I would say either Davari or maybe Carrillo, to tell you the truth.
Carrillo, I can see him.
But Carrillo, I don't think he should win the championship yet. Give him like a couple more months before we think of him as
true.
But he should get a title shot though, because when he faced Buddy Murphy at his debut match, it was epic. It was definitely a 5-star match. You definitely gotta check it out.
Yeah. So
the main event, which was Cedric Alexander versus Mike Kanellis with Maria at ringside. It was a great match. It's always a great match when Cedric is involved. He just needs to always work on his promos and everything.
Yeah.
Stop being so bland and everything.
I always have that criticism.
Right now, I feel like Cedric is at his Rocky Maivia phase of his career, where he's just a
he's at that now, already being a cruiserweight champion.
I'm giving 110%. You know, I'm gonna just go out there and eventually I'll become the cruiserweight champion. You know, whatever, Cedric. We need you to become Ced. So I believe Mike got a forced 3 count off of interference of Maria, and then like the referee had to reverse the decision, and then Cedric went with a lumbar check for the win, right? Something like that.
Well, yeah, that happened here. So Cedric ends up going for a springboard off the ropes, and he ends up slipping and kind of selling a knee injury. Mike Kanellis starts attacking the knee after he fails on the springboard, and then pretty much Maria kind of distracted the ref and distracted Cedric, which led to Mike actually kicking the shit out of Cedric. He actually pulled off the win. Then the referee reversed the decision, realizing that Cedric actually lifted his shoulder off the mat. Lumbar, like you said, lumbar check for the win. Yeah. So more foreshadowing that Mike is almost at that win. He's almost going to do it. So that's why I believe this tournament is to build Mike Kanellis with an eventual win at Mania, or just at least that match at Mania.
And that was a great.
Wait.
So after that, Drake Maverick announces the first 2 matches of the tournament. We have Kalisto versus Tony Nese and Kendrick versus Drew Gulak for next week's show.
Ooh, I see Gulak going over, and I see
hopefully
Tony Nese.
Hopefully Tony Nese. We don't need.
He
already had enough.
He got his own. He got his own stable. He's on Raw and 205.
He doesn't need any more time.
Let's see Gulak. Those are my picks, and that was 205 Live.
Yep.
So moving on to NXT.
So, to NXT. So NXT starts off with Aleister Black versus Roderick Strong. And let me tell you, I love this match. It was a great performance for both Black and Strong. I believe this was an over quality match. Kind of disappointed that it's not.
I have in my notes, fucking hard hitting. Black and Strong are at their best.
I mean, you
Mauro Ranallo was going crazy, losing his breath, laughing out loud.
so you can actually see why Aleister Black was chosen to represent NXT in the main roster.
Mind you, this was an NXT that acknowledged the fact that it was after this Monday night, after this Tuesday night. So this is a 3 days straight Aleister Black is in matches, and the quality just kept increasing. This match versus Roger Strong, oh, go watch it. Like I don't even want to get into full details of what happened, what strikes, what moves.
It even shows why Roddy should get a shot at the North American title.
Definitely
ASAP. I just want to say one spot. Roddy had Aleister Black in a torture rack on the apron, and then he throws him onto the turnbuckle.
Yeah. He throws his just throws him at his neck, just connects with the turnbuckle. He slides down to the outside. That was crazy.
Very great. But Aleister Black hits a black mass from out of nowhere for the win. Undisputed Era comes out to beat up Aleister Black. Ricochet makes the save as Undisputed Era retreats. So it was setting up storylines on top of storylines after storylines. You see.
That's what NXT does well. They know how to balance a whole bunch of moving pieces.
You see the Undisputed Era viciously trying to go after the gold. They're trying to take out the number one contender for the NXT title. And then Ricochet, who recently is still having issues with Undisputed Era, and Adam Cole as well. So we'll see.
We're gonna see more of that.
More of that.
Well, the show actually started with a great Dream and Gargano promo. Yeah. I just wanted to make note of that because it gave like the full history of Gargano rising through the ranks and Dream rising through the ranks and how they end up passing together.
Yeah,
really
which is the main event of this this episode. So the next segment is a performance center video with the female trainers saying that the new recruits have arrived at the performance center. Then you see in the back, you see Shayna, Sophia, and Duke going to their locker room saying that to the new recruits that it's their house and they need to show respect. And then the female trainers get in between them and say that Shayna, Sophia, and Duke he tells them to leave.
This segment kind of irked me because they showed that because it's packaged with the next match, which is Mia Yim versus Xia Li. And eventually a great match. Mia Yim and Xia Li, they had a great match against
the crowd was very firmly behind me again. It was a good showing for both. It just goes to show that the WWE Women's Challenge pool is deep and is going strong.
Honestly, that's exactly how I felt.
And then Mia gives a protect your neck for the win.
So the four horsemen come on, they attack Mia Yim, and instead of saying these three women came on saying who they were like the NXT trainees, and I'm like, who is this? I'm waiting to see what are their names.
I think one of them's name is Lacey Lane, Rachel Ellering, and I'm not sure who the other
Ellering's Goda or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I forgot who the other one was.
But they didn't make mention of that on the actual NXT show. They just kept saying NXT trainees, which really irked me. These are people we're eventually going to see in the future, so just let us know who they are so we can keep an eye on them.
Which I gotta say, Lacey, oh my gosh, she is so cute. Lacey's neck, she has like green eyes and light skin.
He's infatuated over here. But they come up to Mia's rescue and they still all get their ass whipped by the Four Horsewomen, and they end up making an example of Mia Yim, Jessamine Duke, and what's her Sophia. They're holding Mia Yim up by the arms, and then I usually have no complaints for Shayna Baszler, but this has to be the worst running knee strike I've ever seen in my life. Like, it looked like she was thinking about how can I do this and protect her and not really make it look like it.
I feel like
it was a horrible.
I feel like that was the fault of Jasmine Duke and
they're green as hell.
I felt like they didn't hold Mia at the right spot where Shayna could make a believable knee strike. So I don't really blame Shayna for that.
Yeah,
they gotta
really
rehearse
bad.
that a little bit more.
It looked really bad.
So we also get an announcement that the Dusty Road Classic will start next week.
Awesome. For those of you that don't know, Dusty Rhodes Classic is a tag team tournament. Because Dusty Rhodes in NXT, he was very tag team focused, very tag team heavy. And he was like a father to everybody at NXT. So in memory, when he passed away, they made this tag team tournament in his honor. So this is about the third Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this is about the third one. So that's
last year it was the Undisputed Era winning.
Oh, so this is actually the fourth. Because I remember Samoa Joe and Balor winning one. I forgot who else. There was another. I believe there was another team.
AOP.
Was it AOP?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is about like the fourth one.
Yep.
Well, definitely looking forward to that.
Next is the backstage segment with Johnny and Candice, and Johnny's like, "I'm where I'm at," and everything, and Candice like, "I'm so happy for you," and all of a sudden Ciampa comes by, and she's like, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh,
which is valid.
I'm just here. If Johnny needs help, I'm there for him, and said, I don't need your help. I
want this. I want this by myself.
And
because I'm Johnny freaking wrestling."
And then we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah. So
as the next match,
he still says I'm gonna be watching anyways.
As the next match we head into.
Whoa! We have Jeremy Borash interviewing Matt Riddle.
Oh yeah.
They showed a piece of this interview, and it talked about basically his feud with Cassius Ohno, his arrival at NXT. But the rest of that full interview is actually on YouTube. Go check that out. Matt Riddle interviewed by Jeremy Borash, and then it leads into the main event:
Velveteen Dream versus Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship.
Can you hear it?
And it was an experience. I'll definitely say that. Very hard-hitting match, very technical match. A lot of
long match. They had about 30 minutes.
A lot of showboating from Velveteen Dream, showing why he's one of the greatest showmen, and not only NXT but WWE overall. And it was a great match.
It was a lot. It was long. It was 30 minutes. They literally had half of the show.
It was literally a takeover.
Yeah, they had a takeover caliber match. It leads to Velveteen Dream actually winning the North American Championship. So, the funny thing about this match was actually pre-recorded, and it was taped with two different endings.
Yeah.
So people saw the championship win and saw the championship retaining endings, and didn't know which one that they went with. So, stemming off of Johnny representing. He is a transitional champion.
Johnny transitional champion.
He's only been champion for what 2 weeks. So, coming off of that, Raw and SmackDown, Johnny's gonna be representing NXT on the main rosters. So maybe they wanted Dream to take that title off him. I don't know, because Ciampa's still champion too.
I already know what's gonna happen.
What's that?
I feel that DIY is going to enter the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They're going to get to the final round, lose to whoever, Ciampa's gonna try to blast Johnny onto the stage again. However, Johnny's gonna know better and blast Ciampa
What's funny?
into the stage and claim and then hold up the NXT title and then go after.
I think Johnny's gonna be the one to turn on Ciampa first.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. No. I think that because you gotta understand, Ciampa's the heel, so he's gonna try it, but then Johnny's like, no, I got you, bam, because he's already expecting it, and then it's probably gonna make Johnny turn face, and then he's gonna be the good guy going into NXT Takeover, Brooklyn. Was it 5?
This is. I don't know.
Is it 5? 4?
I think it's 4.
Except for NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. So we'll see how it happens.
On a funny note, I put too much tanning Johnny. Johnny had raccoon eyes that whole match because all this was white. Looks like he left the tanning glasses on. And the rest of he had the Donald Trump shade of orange. And all this was just white as hell. Johnny, play off the tan. Just a little bit. You're in Florida, just like stand somewhere. You know? Let's move on to NXT UK.
So, for the NXT UK. So, we start off with Mark Andrews and the Modfather, Flash Gordon Webster versus the Coffee Brothers. If you guys don't know Mark Andrews and Flash Gordon Webster, Mark Andrews basically just like a high-flying cruiserweight, and Flash Gordon Webster is the same. However, he calls himself the Modfather because he's part of this subculture of the UK known as the Mod, which is basically like 60s style UK, basically Austin Powers type of thing.
Wow, I'm glad you said that. I am glad you said that because in my notes, NXT UK started with the Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm build-up story promo to show how their rivalry came, which was very good promo. Check that out. But with that, Mark Andrews and Morgan Webster, right next to Morgan Webster has Austin Powers ?
So yeah,
he had the full European outfit, but just black and white. I'm like, is this Austin Powers right now?
Yeah, because Austin Powers was based on the mod lifestyle, which is basically modern. You got modern fashion, modern music. That's when the Beatles was around. You know, you had all these British bands coming out, and like that's basically the culture that he submerged himself in, which is why he calls himself the Modfather. Just in case you guys don't understand why he calls himself the Modfather, that's the reason why. It's because the mods subculture, they like to wear a whole bunch of Union Jacks and everything, basically Austin Powers style.
Yeah.
So you know, just in case you didn't know that, and then you also have from Dallas the Coffee Brothers, which they didn't come out with Wolfgang, which is kind of surprising as they're heel. But I'm guessing it's because they want the Coffee Brothers to look strong and probably be a contender for the grizzled young vets. But we'll get to that. It was a great tag team match. The Coffee Brothers look very strong in this match. They are a dominant force, and they're definitely a contender for the tag team championship. They
definitely look like the strong tag team. Even before the match started, I was like, these look like a real tag team compared to the other two.
Yeah, but don't count out Mark Andrews and Flash Gordon Webster with their high-flying move, because you know in this match, Mark Andrews and the Modfather were getting dominated, but you know when Flash Gordon Webster got that hot tag, he showcased his agility. He took out both other Coffee Brothers.
I'm not taking.
And it was great.
Just the presence alone, like the Coffee Brothers look like a force.
Yeah, I mean, and with the Coffee Brothers, they basically cut the ring in half. They isolated Mark Andrews, and you know, it basically reminded me of things that the Revival would do. I would actually love to see the Coffee Brothers versus the Revival. That would definitely be a great hard-hitting match. And who knows, maybe we'll see it in the future. But the Coffee Brothers get their win with the tag team finisher, which is basically lariats, and they get the win. Like I said, the Coffee Brothers are a serious contender for the Grizzled Young Vets. And then after that match, we get a video segment of Jordan Devlin walking on the beach.
You mean Bulldog Finn Balor?
Oh yeah. Fake Balor, and he tells the Kiwi Buzzsaw Travis Banks to watch his match, to watch his back for interrupting his Worlds Collide match. This rivalry's been going on for a few months, and it's looking like it's gonna head to the next takeover, NXT UK takeover, wherever it is.
This is right before WrestleMania. It's in New York.
So it's gonna be in New York. The UK takeover.
Oh no. I'm thinking about NXT as well.
No.
My bad.
So we'll see. I believe they have it soon though. So we'll see.
Probably gonna be in.
As a matter of fact, I believe it's probably gonna be
Blackpool.
It's probably the week before.
The week before WrestleMania.
No, the week before the takeover Brooklyn. I believe it is.
Yeah, that's the week before WrestleMania. This takeover is on Friday, and then Mania's that Sunday.
Yeah. So the next video segment we see is about Kaylee Ray, and she's coming to the NXT UK Women's Division. She was on the Mae Young Classic 2 to that out, and it's basically saying that she was one of the driving forces in the UK scene, independent scene, and she's ready to make her splash on WWE UK. So I'm very open to see how she does that. The next match we're getting into is the Artful Dodger, one half of Mustache Mountain, 1/3 of the British Strong Style, Trent Seven, and he faces the former TM61 tag mate Shane Thor.
Which, interestingly enough, TM61 this past week,
yes,
they had a former member promotion join them.
I mean, the funny thing is that his partner Nick isn't even country no more.
No. Well, there's two guys who came in.
Yeah.
And they all used to be a stable in another promotion.
Yeah, and they took pictures and such.
They don't need. I don't think they need to pull it off, because if you see the picture of them together, they pretty much look dominating with or without Nick. But Nick and Shane, right? They were the actual tag team of the group. So
all right. But this match, it was a pretty average match. I really didn't like it too much. I do like the fact that Shane Thorne showed his very aggressive heel style since Nick left. The commentator says that Shane has left NXT and is now going to be competing at the UK full time. And Trent Seven, he's a great athlete, but he seriously needs to lose that gut. Like he's looking like Cassius Ohno right now.
Damn, is he looking like bigger Cass?
No, honestly, well, kind of. He reminds
not big Cass, bigger.
Like no offense to the big strong boy, but he's starting to look like Will Ferrell. Like
damn.
And he really needs to lose that gut. I like the part when Trent put Thorne in the figure four.
He looked like Will Ferrell.
No, am I wrong? Put the match on right now and go check it out. He looks just like Will Ferrell fighting, or is it the big strong boy that we all know and love, Trent Seven? And unfortunately, he needs to lose the game. But I do like the part when he put Thor in the figure four leg lock and then reversing it back and forth until they both fell to the other side. That was very funny. Trent eventually wins with the Rainmaker. So the next segment that is shown is a video from the Performance Center with Joseph Connor. He says that Ligero won because he was on an off day, and he will always be better than Ligero. Seems like we're gonna have a strong rivalry between Ligero and Joseph Connor in the future. So we'll have to see where that leads up to. The next thing that happens.
They pack a lot into these hour episodes.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. They never. It's always just nonstop. So the next segment is the grizzled young vets, Zach Gibson, and James Ray come out, and if you hate Zach Gibson, shoes off. However,
I must hate Zach Gibson so much my shoes disappeared.
However, it was in Phoenix, and I guess the fans didn't know that chat because Zach Gibson cut a whole promo, and nobody said that they hated Zach Gibson.
I actually don't hate Zach Gibson. He's actually really fucking good in the ring.
But
I just love the chant.
So the grizzled young vets said they proved that they're the very best tag team in the world and caused the Phoenix crowd a bunch of worthless yanks, and that he will teach them why British wrestling is the best in the world. And then Lorcan and Birch come out, and Birch says that he's very proud to be British, but he's also very happy that he represents the NXT USA brand, and he's proud to have Lorcan as a partner. And they said that they don't have to wait until next week. They can come down and fight the grizzled young veterans right now. Right now! Right now! Right now! Right now! Right now! So they stormed the ring, but the grizzled young vets retreat to the back. So I guess they're going to fight next week. We'll see what happens. So for the next match and the main event, we have
main event
scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
So we have the NXT UK Women's Champion Toni Storm taking on Rhea Ripley in a rematch. Before the bell even rings, Rhea Ripley just comes out, just attacks Toni Storm.
That's fucked up. Why would you do that?
I don't know. You gotta ask him. He's a brutal way, you know.
Brutal.
So he's out there and he's attracting very ferociously and aggressive, really showing his passion to getting back the NXT UK Women's Championship. And Tony fights back, and we have a really great match. It's a really, really great match. Go watch it. WWE Network. Let me stop before they.
I can't lie. Every time I see Rhea Ripley or even Toni Storm in the ring, I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
And put those two together. Would love to see a lot more happen between them.
I feel as though Rhea is ready for the main roster. Her promo skills, her ring work, she's ready. I definitely see her taking on Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte and putting on a great match. She's tall. She's very tall.
Yeah,
so definitely tower all four of them. So, and she's strong. We'll see what happens in the future, but don't count out Toni Storm, because Tony's heart and agility exactly shows how she took the NXT UK Women's Championship in the first place.
Yep.
Rhea tries to spear Tony in the corner, but Tony moves out the way and gets Rhea into the Storm Zero for the win. Rhea retreats to the match, and I wonder who's going to be the next contender.
Woo! Woo!
Will it be Jenny?
Woo!
Will it be Candy Floss?
Woo!
Will it be Mia?
Woo!
I don't know. Maybe it's Lana Austin. I hope
Lana Austin.
See, they haven't signed. They still haven't signed Austin yet. But
it's official. It's damn near official.
They haven't signed it yet. The crowd definitely behind her. The whole, I don't know, because she worked Impact this year too, and she still didn't get signed. I wonder what's going on.
They trying to figure it out.
But they better figure it out. If
they're not gonna just throw her on there.
If you hear the
then
pop,
again, it is NXT. Is not. Look at James Storm, what he did. He showed up for NXT for like a month.
The thing is, it was more like a one-off. Like, she was basically just doing a jobbing role, but the crowd was definitely wanting her to win that match, and they were very adamant. If you could watch her Lana Austin's matches a couple weeks ago, the crowd was behind her. They need to do something with Lana. She's basically like the blue pants of
the
NXT,
blue pants. Wow, throwback.
Yeah, and so
whatever happened to blue pants?
She's still an independent wrestler. They never signed her.
Wow.
And she was majorly over, but they decided not
crazy.
to sign her. I don't know why, but hey, that's NXT UK. Let's get into a couple of Honor Rising, and in case you don't know, every February, New Japan partners with Ring of Honor to have um, the Honor Rising events. And this year it was at the Karaoke Hall. Um,
Give a little context. It's Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Yeah, and it's basically just like War of the Worlds, but in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just tell you what happened down the card. Marty Scurll versus, which I got his Black Craft shirt. We'll buy that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So go watch. Go watch. It's on New Japan World, and I'm pretty sure it's also on the Honor Club. They're both $9 per month.
Speaking of Honor Club and speaking of New Japan World, they did an announcement that the G1 Madison Square Garden is going to be live streamed on both of the Honor Club and New Japan World. So there's going to be a lot of ways to see the G1 support.
Support $5 a month. That's all it takes.
Yep.
So Marty Scurll defeated Ren Narita, Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr.
defeated Shota Umino. You got Jushin Thunder Liger and Jonathan Grissom, the Octopus, defeated the Bone Soldier Chaji and the Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles.
Robbie Eagles. That was somebody we were definitely counting out.
That's what I was telling you that he was in, and he's gonna stay in Bullet Club. You guys didn't want to believe me, and look what happened. So, and then the next match we had Juice Robinson, David Finlay, and Tomoaki Onoma and Toa Inare defeated Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Jay Briscoe, and Mark Briscoe.
Which is going to be a classic. We got the Gorillas of Destiny soon gonna face the Briscoe brothers at the G1 title for title. That being the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles and the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, both on at the G1. Honestly, that's one of the matches I'm looking forward to come the G1. But I also do not hold out the realm of possibility that because it's a title for the match, that we're going to see a false finish.
Is that we're going to be a false finish?
I hope that's not the case, but was that all the...
No.
Let's continue with Honor Rising.
It's 2 days. So what
A little clearer. We have Carl Cullum in the comments on YouTube, and he says we can hardly...
sorry about that. So, one thing I want to point out in this match, the third member of GOD came back. Hiko Leo, he's part of GOD. He was injured, but now he's back. He made his return.
So the Cutthroat era is even stronger, is what you're saying.
The Cutthroat era is now even stronger. So, and now let's go to the next match. Takogi Makabe, Toru Yano, and Rasuki Taguchi defeated Cheeseburger, Delirious, and Colt Cabana to defend the openweight 6-man tag team championship. I mean,
realistically speaking, the Cabana win in 2019.
Realistically speaking, can you expect someone like Cheeseburger winning that title?
No.
Exactly. So the next match we get is Will Ospreay, and he faces Lofty Castle for the
Ospreay
for the Never
Keeper. If you don't know, look it the fuck up. He is the gatekeeper.
So he basically wins this match, and in his post-match interview, he says that he's the never openweight title and championship, and that he could face heavyweight championship, and he could face heavyweights and lightweight championships. Either way, it doesn't matter. And he says that he remembers this kid named Jay White, who's now the IWGP champion, that he remembers a couple years ago at Worlds, New York. We were there.
Jay White's only been in his position, like, starting off as a young lion, only like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So this jump from a young lion to IWGP champion is kind of unheard of. Like, most people get put through the ringer. Like, they have years and years of trying to get to that spot.
Yeah.
Even got to go through the complete juniors just to make it to the heavyweight division. Like,
exactly.
Jay White jumped.
But, you know, it just goes to show you that he works hard. A lot of people is not giving Jay White the proper credit, but let me tell you, he's been there. He was handpicked by Balor. But they didn't want to. He didn't want to be. New Japan didn't want him to be part of the Bullet Club. They wanted him to be a young lion and stuff. But eventually,
see, my problem with the whole situation surrounding Jay White and the IWGP Championship is not so much even Jay White's fault. It's the fact that Tanahashi was a transition, and when when a lot of people, our co-host Rich, he likes to compare Tanahashi to like a Japanese John Cena. So when you have someone as on the caliber of a Tanahashi win the IWGP Championship off of Kenny Omega just to become a transitional champ and lose it pretty much in his first defense, it kind of sucked.
Well, to tell you
nothing taken away from Jay White, because we all knew Jay White was
to tell you the truth, that they're
either win it at the G1 or go win as champ.
They're basically giving Jay White the Kenny Omega storylines. So it seems like Kenny Omega would have won back the title from Tanahashi after Tanahashi won a G1, went to the Tokyo Dome, won it. It looked like he would have got it right back.
The funny thing is, with Kenny Omega's signing to AEW, it was put in his contract that he could work for New Japan at any point. So why if that was in the cards, why didn't Kenny just win it back?
Because because New Japan probably doesn't like that. They want their own stars.
I think
to be
even if Kenny comes back to New Japan, he's never going to be held in the same light.
No, he's not.
Was because they know that he's going to go back to AEW at the end of the day.
And I'll tell you why. Because they rather have a champion that's signed by New Japan than not. That's the whole reason why the never open weight championship came about. Was because people from other promotions could come in, they could win that championship, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're from another promotion, you get that title only because the main titles are basically for our roster, and that's what they're going for. And him being signed by AEW is like, okay, we wanted you to be champion, but since you're AEW, is like, why should we do that?
Yeah.
When we got a bunch of wrestlers that could be champions.
That are staying loyal to New Japan as well.
And another thing is that right now it seems like New Japan is mad at AEW for signing the Best Friends, because Trent, huge push.
Not only that, you kind of
push.
just broke apart Chaos by doing that. So I agree with New Japan, but then again, New Japan should have had the hindsight to see what their stars were doing. Come on, Kenny Omega, this is not the first year they've leveraged their contracts over New Japan like that, or talked to other people during contract negotiations. The Elite had the history of always putting dangling their contracts in New Japan's face just to get more money and a better contract, which, is good negotiation today, but New Japan needs to start building. They do a lot of long-term storyline developments. They in a way where it builds multiple people for just in case scenarios. Kind of like Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, they can lose JD through tomorrow and they will have a replacement the next day.
They'll have Matt Taven.
So,
but going back to what I was saying, Will Ospreay challenges Jay White at the New Japan New Year's anniversary event.
That's gonna be awesome.
And like we said, when we saw Will Ospreay versus Jay White, it was a great match. Will Ospreay came out on top. We'll see what happens. Next one, hey, Jay White hasn't even accepted it, so we'll see what happens.
Jay White's gonna accept. I'm pretty sure. The streak he's gone on beating Okada and going on to beat Tanahashi so quick, and not a lot of people can get like 8-9 victories straight over Okada. That's unheard of. So I think Jay White's gonna accept it just on the pure strength that he's trying to be a proven champion for New Japan. Not only that, he's in the forefront of the Bullet Club, the Cutthroat era, and he has to be put in that position if you want to continue the Bullet Club name and still hold the same weight. He has to show and prove as a champion now.
What I'm hoping is gonna happen, and this is just me thinking out loud here. Okada's gonna probably challenge Jay White at the G1 card in the Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
Right?
Okada versus White.
So that
Okada might win if that's the case.
But here's the thing. There's a mole in Chaos that Jay White's been alluding to this whole time. What if Will Ospreay is that mole and he's trying to swerve somebody into thinking that he's against Jay White? Okada comes, costs Will Ospreay the title, and then Will Ospreay comes back at the G1 at Madison Square Garden, betrays Okada, and joins the Bullet Club.
Ooh.
What would happen?
My mind would explode for
what
one.
Would happen? Oh my God, that would be such great.
Do we have one who's on?
It's a 2-night show. So, anyways,
it's a 2-night show.
Yeah.
Was this all just part one?
No, we still got 2 more matches. Jeff Cobb defeats Hiroki Goto for the Ring of Honor World TV Championship, which Hiroki Goto, when it was announced, didn't even know what that championship meant or anything, but he still wanted it. So he definitely got that, but he got.
He was like, "Hey, it looks dope. I want that."
So then, the main event of the night one was Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Jay Lethal, and they defeated the Kingdom of Matt Taven, Vinny Marzanilla, and TK.
Oh right,
O'Brien.
I did see the end results of that.
Yeah.
With Jay Lethal and these guys holding their hands up high.
And then
it was a dope picture. Actually, it was like. People on the forums put that up, and they were like, people complain or say that the Elite leaving, that New Japan's not in good hands, and then they have a picture of Tanahashi, Okada, and Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Jay Lethal. So in the backstage interview after that, you have Okada saying, "It's funny because I hate Jay White, but I love Jay Lethal." So that's night 1. We get into night 2. We have Toa Emir and Jonathan Grissom, the Octopus, versus Zack Sabre Jr. son.
Zack Sabre Jr. son!
And his coach, Taka Michinoku.
Taka. Every time I hear Taka's in ring competition, it makes me happy. Like, that man is a legend.
He has his own wrestling promotion, his own dojo.
He's still kicking and he's still wrestling.
And he manages Zack Sabre Jr. So
one of the most decorated WWE Cruiserweight champions.
So shout out to Taka Michinoku. The next match is Marty Scurll, and he defeated Robbie Eagles, the Sniper of the Sky. The next match is Colt Cabana and Toru Yano versus Delirious and Cheeseburger.
2 nights for Colt? Okay.
The next match is Will Ospreay and Hiroki Goto, and they defeated Jeff Cobb and Dalton Castle. The match after that was Tetsuya Naito and Shingo Takagi, and they defeated Matt Taven and Vinny of the Kingdom. And then you have Jay Lethal defeated TK O'Brien for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Just another defense under his belt.
Just another defense. Now TK O'Brien, he was saying that if he beats Jay Lethal, he wouldn't be the Ring of Honor champion because Matt Taven's the real championship. So he's just gonna take the title
and give it back to Matt
Taven. That's what he was saying.
That'd be hilarious.
But he got defeated, so oh well. The Gorillas of Destiny defeated Eva Sonata for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. And the Briscoes defeated Juice Robinson and David Finlay for the World Tag Team Championship.
I like how they kind of made them collide in the first night and then kept them separate the second night.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Briscoes, that's going to be one of the matches I'm looking forward to at the G1. So
yeah, definitely.
Hopefully they keep the build going into the G1. And I mean, the last time we saw the Briscoes, us personally, we were live at Final Battle and we were watching Ladder War. And We actually have Mama and Papa Briscoe right behind us in the crowd, cheering on their son.
And you can watch. And you can watch all that footage that we.
Yeah, we have all that footage on the Kayfabe YouTube page. Check that out on the live events. But.
And that's it for New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor.
So that was wow. So that was the news. That was Raw. That was SmackDown. NXT UK.
205 Live. Ring of Honor. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
You name it, we got it.
We'll
discuss it. Unfortunately, Mr. Richie Moon is not here with us. Once again, he's recovering from injuries sustained at his tryout.
At the Performance
They stuck
Center.
the mud hole in him. No, on a serious note, he had some health issues. So let's wish Richie Moon a speedy recovery. You can find him at Kayfabe Avenue, at Kayfabe_Av on Instagram. You can find me, Kayfabe AJ, at Kayfabe_AJ. And you can find Focus
at Kayfabe_Focus.
And this has been the Kayfabe Av Livecast. This is This Week in Wrestling. And,
what else can we say? What do we usually say? I don't know, because it's like Richie's not here.
did I hear anybody say anything about the Four Horsemen?
You know what? Can you take us home?
Or should I sneak
Show's
it in?
over. Show's over.
No, I'm gonna sneak Richie's song in. I'm gonna sneak it in. All right. Ever since Moon's baby left him,